Welcome back to New to Medical Device Sales. I am your host, Jacob McLaughlin, and coming to you guys tonight on a beautiful Arizona evening. A little chilly. We just had some rain. So we had some sun back here in our lives. We're not used to rain. So it gets me all depressed, aka makes me remember why I left the Midwest, and now it's back to the good old days. So nobody cares about that. So why we talk about it? Here we go. But I hope you guys are doing great. Again, appreciate you guys all tuning in. Like I talked about, I'm going to start making these episodes that are more rep specific, because I've had a lot of people who are reaching out and now they're in the industry, but they're like, now what do I do? And also, I will always keep it to the person who's trying to break it into medical device sales. But the goal is to start putting out more content for you guys, more podcast, if you can believe that, and hopefully make it more of being ones with guests, but also ones that I will do still breaking in, but also a little more strategic on how to be a rep, and how to be a successful rep and an associate rep and how to get promoted and all that good stuff. So I wanted to be able to do that to you guys. But if you haven't, please press that like and subscribe button, and a 5-star review helps us grow this channel. And I wanted to reach out to you guys. A lot of you have LinkedIn but haven't followed me, so I would love to connect with you guys. So either follow me or connect with me on LinkedIn. Would love to. I've actually had a decent amount of good people, or not good people, but people reach out to me this last week and just connect that haven't been following me for a while, but then they're like, hey, I've been listening to the podcast for 4 months, and so I just started talking about my LinkedIn. So if you guys don't know, on my LinkedIn I also put my 3-month conversation of what I felt like 3 months in, and my reflection, because I tracked the whole thing and I blogged it and all that good stuff. So I put out educational pieces as well, and then also you guys get to see what I'm doing with Innovis and my job there. If you guys are listening to this, I'm doing this early because by the time you're listening to this episode, I will be in Orlando, Florida for IMSH, one of the conferences we have there. And then I looked at my schedule and I will be traveling to 8 different places in the next about 2.5 months. On those lists, I think was Orlando, LA, San Diego, Washington, DC, Chicago, Montreal, Canada, back here, Tucson, Arizona, back to San Diego. So as you guys can hear, I'm living a tough life. It's a fun life. I'm very blessed. I'm very excited to be where I'm at. But as you guys can imagine, it is a lot. Like there are some weeks I'm 10, 15 days out, and there's literally one trip back into the other. Like this next trip I will literally go to Orlando. I will be out there. I'll leave Thursday. I will get back Wednesday, and I will be leaving out most likely either Saturday or Sunday night to go to LA. So not much time home, and there's a couple trips. I'm actually going from one trip right into the next trip. So you guys just learn to love it. But again, I live a little different life. You guys know that if you've listened. If not, if you guys have not listened, go back. I have over 125 episodes at this time. I literally picked up a phone and started recording myself in these podcasts when I was a personal trainer saying I want to break into medical device sales. So if you guys have not, go back. And just a quick little rant that I always do. If you guys are new, you will learn to love this because I do a lot of these. But to the conversation of, I still have people, they're like, hey, I listened to 3 episodes, and then they want to get on calls with me, and then they ask me really dumb beginner questions. And so again, this is me trying to be nice for you guys. I'm happy to get on a call with anybody. I always tell you guys to reach out, and I get on calls with everybody that I can. Again, I now get on over 100 calls a week. It used to be a month, and again, so I am always on a phone call. Sam doesn't get to see me much because even when I'm walking him, I'm on a call talking to someone or 20 people in an hour. So the thing I just say is I want to make it the most beneficial for you guys, and you got to be strategic. So again, a lot of the questions that you guys have, like, what's medical device sales? What made me get into it? What do you want to do? Like all those good questions I've answered in the 125 episodes. So do yourself a favor, go watch those, because I hope you will learn that they are very educational. I always tell people, the last thing I'll say, and then we'll get into the episode, is everything I'm going to tell you guys on a phone call, I'm saying it on here because it doesn't make any sense for me not to tell you guys what I would say in real life or on the phone, because that means I would have to get on more phone calls. And I just don't possibly have that time. So I always just say that if you go back to my last episodes and all the other episodes, you'll see I'm very transparent, say how it is. And again, I'm just here to help you guys. I want you guys to get in and break in, and everything. It's funny, even today, I just got on a couple calls today, And it's literally people are asking me questions and they're like, oh, I followed you for so long. And they're asking me questions that they haven't followed me for that long, because they would have not asked those questions if they actually would have been listening and hearing what I was saying in the episode. So again, I always joke, but like, again, I want to help you guys, but to get the most out of when we do connect, I want you guys to be able to ask good questions so I can be more strategic for you. So again, if you guys are interested, just reach out to me on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, New to Medical Device Sales, Jake McLaughlin. But again, if you guys aren't following me on LinkedIn, follow me, because again, I do put a lot of stuff out there. And I have our New to Medical Device Sales page out there. And would just love to connect with you. Because again, this week I had over 20 people just reach out and they're like, hey, found you on the podcast, or found you on YouTube, or found you on Instagram or TikTok. And then they'll slowly migrate over to LinkedIn. So would love to meet you guys. And again, if you don't have a LinkedIn, you're definitely going to need one. So I would create one anyway, and then add me there, and then we can start connecting there. But let's get into the episode that you guys are like, we're 8 to 10 minutes in and like, what the heck are we doing here? But with the episode today, I had a really good call with one of my friends and one of the people I'm really close with, and we were able to help them break into medical device sales. And they are now an associate sales rep role, and they are hoping to become a full line sales rep role, which I have no doubt that they will in the within a year. So it will definitely be under a year. They'll go from an associate to a full line sales rep role. Have no doubt that that's going to happen. But the conversation, we had really good conversations, and I just wanted to touch on our conversation because this was really helpful. Because really quick, kind of what the scenario is she's an associate, there's a territory manager, right? And then we started talking about the relationship inside the territory manager, also what the relationship of the territory is. And so a common question I get asked is, hey, as the associate, how do I handle this relationship with my territory manager? Because you guys are going to be coming in. You guys are the new people on the block. You are the people who are, quote unquote, have to earn your stripes. And that's how they look at you. But what gets really interesting is when you are an associate and then you get a new TM in the territory. And now that new TM is the one who's the new kid on the block, and they quote unquote need to earn their stripes, but they're coming normally with experience from somewhere else. And even though they know how to do that, they actually don't know what you're doing. And so you're actually more skilled and have more knowledge than they do, but they're the full line rep and you're the associate. But then they're going to tell you with stuff that sometimes isn't smart. And so that was just a conversation that we were having, is there was things that were going on that if I was a TM, I would definitely not be doing, I would not be saying, and there would just be things. And the question was like, how do you handle that? And so we just had a really good conversation of, number one, you're always needing to get things in written proof. And this goes so much farther than just talking with TMs and ASRs. This is anything you do in life. You need it in an email, text form. And I learned this the hard way as a rep, because somebody will tell you that you have a surgery on this date, or somebody will tell you you don't need to bring something. I promise you, they will tell you that you don't need to bring something. And then you will not bring something. And then they will rip you for not bringing it, tell you how much of an idiot you are and that you suck and that they don't want to use you anymore, even though they're the ones who told you not to use it. And so you have to document everything. And this saved me so many times. So like real quick, I'm going to go on a little like side note so you guys can actually like see real life. There was one of my accounts. They did not like me very much, AKA because they just sucked. They were not a good an account. They weren't good at what they did. They weren't good at their jobs. And the person I dealt with was horrible at her job. So I won't go too down that road. But for the example of, I brought in a tray. I learned that you should take a picture of your tray every single time, because even though we love SPD and they work hard and they do stuff, they lose a lot of stuff. They just don't care. They're making $12 an hour. Their life sucks. Why are we doing this? And it's not their job. So who gives a crap, right? And so they would lose stuff. And so literally would take photos. And there was one time I went into this surgery, took photos, brought in 2 trays. The one tray was missing. They could just not find it. They didn't know where it was. And the lady was like, did you even bring it? I doubt you even brought it. And so I had to show her that I brought it. And she's like, oh, I guess you did, right? And so the second one was they messed it up and they literally were missing one of my pieces in my tray. And I like to make my life easy for you guys. It's like I only had 5 pieces in my tray. So it's not like I had a complex tray. And one piece is missing was like one of the biggest parts that we needed to do the surgery. And they're like, no, you just must have forgot it. You just didn't pack it. You lost it. And so I had to physically show them that hey, nice try. Took photos yesterday when I dropped them off to get sterilized. That's what was in it. You can see that the time marked and you can see the location that this picture was taken. Bam. So what I just showed to you guys is why it's important to timestamp. Now let's bring it back to that relationship, because going back to what I just said, people will lie. People will tell you one thing and tell your regional manager and tell other people the other thing, because they don't want to look bad. They don't want to look like they're not doing their job, right? And so that was a conversation of just being, first off, make sure you're covering your butt. Now, number two, it's like, hey, you can try to give them the benefit of the doubt. And again, because if you are the associate, you need to respect your quote unquote elders, the people that are higher ranked than you. But we had a good conversation, and it's kind of the talk I had. Like, I'm always being respectful to the people that are above me. I'm always being respectful to our counterparts. But at the end of the day, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to grow my territory. I'm here to make sure my company is growing, right? And so when you come with that mindset, that changes everything, because if I see a teammate or a TM doing stuff that's not helping the territory and they're being lazy, I'm not going to be okay with that. And so that's where we had the conversation of, there are going to be some times that maybe you need to go talk to the regional manager, that you need to say, hey, I had this opportunity. They told me not to do it, but I think this was a real fail. And then you'll find out that the regional manager actually wanted you to do it, and they're not, but they told the TM, told them that you just dropped the ball on it, but they actually told you not to do it. And like, you can see where this all goes, right? That's number one. Number two, you'll also see that a lot of times people won't reach out to the regional manager because they don't want to bug them. But then what actually ends up happening is 4, 5, 6 months goes on. The associates are all frustrated. They're all mad. But the regional manager has no idea. And then the TM then there's like the bickering and the fight. And then it all goes up to the TM. And then they'll be like, this has been going on for 6 months. And then the regional manager is going to be like, if it's been going on for 6 months, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you say anything? And it was the conversation I had with that person was like, it doesn't matter what you say after that, it's done. Because they're right. You should have said something, but you didn't want to hurt someone's ego. You didn't want to have the uncomfortable conversation, right? And so again, and let me just make this clear. This is not like at that person. I'm taking this person. We had a great conversation, and I was like, dang, this could help so many people that are probably feeling the same way that are associates. So again, that's why I'm doing this. I'm not like pointing at this person, because this person's a rock star and they're going to do great. So that's the couple things I wanted to talk is just being able, when you're having those relationships, it's communicate, and you need to be learning from these people. But in this situation, if you know more than that person because they've not been in this industry and now they're coming in 6 months after you, and you know the doctors, you know the surgeons, you know the surgery, you know the products, you know the competitor, and they're brand new, it's like, it's challenging, right? And so it's more of that teammate, and especially it's challenging if that TM comes in and they're trying to show dominance right away. They're trying to be like, I'm the leader, right? But they don't know what they're doing, and we won't go down that route. So that's one thing that I just wanted to touch on was like, if you guys are an associate and you're trying to kind of, what's my relationship? Again, your relationship with a TM is they are your superior. And again, you want it to be like a teammate. You want it to be like, hey, we're friends. But also it's like, in the corporate world, they're going to look at that's your superior. You need to do what they say. And so again, you just need to be respectful, and you need to listen, and you need to do things. And you also need to understand that they're going to have you run trays and cover cases that they just don't want to. That's okay. Like, that is going to happen. But what's not okay is if they're lying, saying they're at places they're not. If they're telling you not to go to accounts that are going to grow the territory a lot because they don't know what they're doing or whatever it is, right? So that was just something I just wanted to mention. But again, if you do have a territory manager and you should be trying to learn from them, especially if they have experience from them. But this is where we talk about, and this is why we have our course. It's because what you guys find out is a lot of people you think are going to teach you, your regional manager is going to teach you, your reps are going to teach you. But like, I bring this up in my own experience. I didn't meet my manager until a year in. Like, my other rep that I was with, thankful I had Alex, and he was the best man, but like, he also had his own territory. So he couldn't sit there and hold my hand at all times. So it's like, I had to figure stuff out a lot by myself, right? And so even though you guys want all this help, you think you're going to get all this training, it's like, a lot of times I've been there. I know how reps are. I've heard reps say, throw them to the wolves. Go figure it out. I had to, right? And so then you guys are already in a stressful situation, and then you just are in an even more stressful. And then you guys are calling someone like myself, which I've already got 6 messages this week. Hey, Jacob, listen to your podcast, broke in, great. Now what do I do? Yep, that's what happens, right? So because of that, hint, I'm working on some stuff, so hopefully I can help, aka why we're doing these podcasts as well, is to be able to help you guys, because again, it's how we've been able to get people from associates to full line reps in under a year, making 6 figures and having success and just crushing it, and hopefully to help with you guys that. But let's not get ahead of ourselves too early. But yeah, so that's the challenging part, is like when you guys can be wanting that, but then it just doesn't happen. And so again, just understand that, like for example, even this person, like I'm like, how often do you see a regional manager? And they're like, maybe once a quarter. That's 4 times a year if you're lucky, right? It's probably less than that, right? And then if you're TM, this is why I'm just going to go on a little rant like I normally do, is like it matters who you talk to, right? I know a lot of TMs. I'm looking at my board right now. I still have my stuff taped up. I see the people that were 39th and they're still not hitting quota. I see the people that were 38th and barely hitting quota. You know who I'm not probably taking advice from? People not hitting quota. But guess what? That might be your TM. Like I personally know associates. I just had a conversation with one of the girls I'm friends with. She has a TM and she crushes them. The TM was running at under 80% when they left, and the associate had to run the territory. It was way over 100. Now the person came back and now it's starting to drop again, right? Like that's the challenging stuff with it. And so it can be tough if you guys are having it. And so what I was going on with that conversation is you have to act like they are your superior, quote unquote, right? And that's how corporate's going to look at them. But as long as you're always coming with the, hey, I'm coming to do this for the territory and I want to grow and I keep doing it. If you have to go and have a meeting with your regional manager on a monthly basis or a weekly basis because of that, that's okay. If you're doing it in the best interest of the territory. And also if you're just looking to grow, that is conversations. But I'm going to sit here and tell you, I talk to these people on a daily basis. I meet these people. I talk to these high ups sometimes that like are at medical device companies that have been in medical device sales for 15 years and they don't know certain things, right? So now how can you expect them to teach you, right? And so it goes down the whole rabbit hole. So I wanted to talk on that. But the second part I wanted to talk on was with this person, because I think this will be really helpful for you guys, is they had a relationship with an account before they became a rep because they had a personal relationship with them and they used to be there. And so they knew the people personally, right? And so the conversation I just wanted to like bring up was they're like, what should I be doing? Or should I? And again, I can say this because I used to be this person. They'd be like, oh, the competitive rep I heard is coming on this way. So I need to come in there this way and I need to do blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, hey, slow down. Like chill, right? If there's anyone who needs to slow down, it's me because we know I talk a lot pretty fast. But at the same time, I was like, hey, so, and then I just challenged them. I was like, okay, so that rep comes in on whatever day. Let's say it's Tuesday. So, and she's like, I need to be there on Monday. Okay, let's say it's Monday. Okay, great. So why do you need to be on Monday? Well, I got to be in there before them because I need to let them know. And I said, great. But then I asked the question, if you were going to meet with somebody that was going to make a big decision, would you want to be the first person or the last person to talk to that person? First person sounds good, but it's actually the last person, because guess what? If you're the last person, you can counteract all the stuff that the first people said. You can ask what they said. You can actually have the doubts that they're having because the first person probably lied about some stuff. And you can probably answer those questions. And now you can leave everything on the table. And then also, you're the most recent person to talk with them. So who are they going to think about the most, right? And so that was something I just raised. And again, I'm not saying that's the right answer. These are all my own opinions, right? So take that as they will. But I was like, maybe you don't need to be first, right? Maybe it's okay. And then the question came into, okay, how do I even handle the conversations? What do I do? And I was like, this is where we've had a couple talks, but it's like, just be a human being. You know these people. You know them by name. They like you. Like, if you weren't a rep, would they still talk to you? And they're like, oh yeah. And I was like, then what are we doing here? Well, we don't need to worry about you actually selling a product. Just go talk to them and ask how the kids are doing and how things have been, and actually just give a crap about that human being and actually show interest in their life, because you actually do. It's not fake. You know these people. You've spent time with these people. You know them on a personal basis. Just ask them to talk to them. Then guess what's going to happen? They're going to ask about your life. I guarantee you, they'll ask you, what's going on in your life? What are you doing now? And then you'll tell them what you're doing. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And then you'll be like, oh yeah, we actually do stuff for like what your office does. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, what? And then you can tell them about it. And guess what? You're not even selling when you're selling. Because they're just asking, trying to learn. And then you get to show them and they're like, oh, we could use that. Oh, that would be helpful. Oh yeah, we have that problem. Bam. The deal's already done. You don't even have to do the work. You just have to go literally say, hey, how's it going? And then talk to them, right? And so the reason I'm going into so much depth is there's so many listeners right now listening to this that are thinking this exact same thing where they're like, I came from somewhere, I have a relationship with these people, but now I'm a rep. How do I go sell with them? And that's what happens is you guys take your, like being a human being on, you put being a sales rep on, and this is why people get bad reps. Because you stop being a human being. You're trying to think too strategically. You're trying to do, A, B, and C, but actually just go be a human being. Actually just go talk to them. Ask them about how their family is. Ask them how their weekend was. Ask them and get to know them, because guess what? You actually already do know them already. You already had relationships with them. So don't try to be fake, because it's going to come off fake. They can tell that. And then they're going to be like, oh, you changed. And then the last piece that I really wanted to touch on was, then I know a lot of times this happens with new reps all the time. And I know I did it when I first started. So it's why I can tell you guys this. But like, too many people are going to come in and they're going to promise the world. And this was my motto. And it's why I did have so much success, is I'm going to under promise and over deliver. If I tell you something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it 10 times over. But what was happening was, when I was having this conversation, this person's like, I'm going to do A, B, and C. I'm going to say this, this, and this. And I'm like, well, the person who is above you, will they be able to follow through? And they're like, well, I hope so. And I'm like, whoa. You better not hope so. You better know so. Because if you go and tell these people that you're going to do A, B, and C, and then that person drops the ball, they don't know that person and they don't care about that person. They just know that you dropped the ball, that you lied to them, that you now have become one of them sleazy sales reps because you just overpromised and underdelivered, and you were just saying something to make a quick sale. You weren't doing what was best for them. And so I'm saying this to you guys so you can really understand. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. That's so many reps out there in medical device sales, and it's why they don't perform. And I just want to do a dramatic pause on that, because that's the truth. People ask me, what's the difference between people who are top performers and people who don't perform? Number one, it's mindset. But number two, most people overpromise and they underdeliver. How about you underpromise and overdeliver? And they will be like, wow, you're freaking great. When you say you're going to do something, actually do it. Crazy thought, but actually just do it. If you say, I don't know the answer and I'm going to get back to you in 24 hours, get back to them in 24 hours. If you say you're going to be at a case, be at a case. If you say, hey, you'll get an email out to them and learn something, do that, right? Like, that's what most people don't do, and that's why most people aren't successful. They can't do the little things. So I wanted to talk about just those points, because for you guys, it's like, don't stop being a human being with people that you already know that are in the, like, if they have whatever, their office manager or whatever they are, right? If they're an actual surgeon, who cares? Like, if you know those relationships, you know them, and if you have them on a personal level, keep it on a personal level. And yes, you're going to talk about work. Yes, you're going to talk about what you're doing. But guess what? If you really knew them on a personal level, they're going to ask about you because they care about you, just like you cared about them, right? Because you have a relationship, and they're going to bring up stuff, right? And so this is where I tell you guys, take the sales cap off. Stop trying to think that you guys are going to go make these crazy deals and do all this stuff. And again, I'm not saying you won't, but what happens when you guys start thinking that way is you stop being a human being. You stop thinking about, like, hey, I wonder what Jerry's up to. I wonder what's going on in Jerry's life. Hey, I haven't seen Jerry in 6 months. I wonder what's new, right? Like, that's the things that happen compared to, like, we were having the conversation and it was just going to be like benefits 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5. They do not care. Don't care. They care about you. Right? And so this is where I can always just sit here and smile with just a grin on my face. Is like, people will be like, oh, relationship's selling, it's dead, it doesn't work. No, yeah, you're gay, whatever you say, right? But I'm pretty sure if you're an expert at what you do, you have a good product, and you have a good relationship, pretty sure it's going to work out pretty well for you. But you could have a relationship and have a sucky product, and it won't work out for you. So again, you should only sell what you actually believe in. Crazy thought too. So I know I did a little rambling around for you guys, but I hope this was helpful just from the standpoint of like how you should handle certain relationships, how you should be able to go into new sales. And the last thing I just wanted to touch on, because I'm going to do a whole one on setting up lunches, closing deals, like creating urgencies. Those are in my pipeline. I have them on the notes to create these episodes. But like the one I really wanted to just get across tonight is, just being able to be an associate. You guys are going to be doing things, but there's certain relationships that you have to work on. And you guys are all wanting to go close these deals, and I love that. And I know you guys are like go-getters, and I'm the same one, but like you guys have to understand, most of you guys are 6 months in or under, and you're like, I'm gonna go crush it. That's the number one message I get from people who break in. How do I make the biggest impact in 30 days? You don't. You don't even know your freaking name. You don't even know what product you sell. You're not making an impact in 30 days. You know what you can do though? You can try to start learning your stuff. You can take the next 6 months and focus on what are you going to do to become an expert in every single way. Can you focus the next 6 months on how you're going to go make relationships with everybody of the accounts that you already have? Are you going in the next 6 months going to go show that you're an actual human being and really good at what you do? That's what you can do in the 6 months. And remember, it's what I tell everyone. Do something today that's going to help your territory 3, 6, 9, 12 months from now. Stop thinking so short term. Yeah, you might not be an associate for 2 years. Or you might, right? I say this all the time, and I think, this is what I'll end it on is, I never knew at Medtronic that if I'd be there for 2 years or 10 years or 20 years or whatever it was, right? And I can just sit here and tell you guys, I acted like I was going to be there for 10. For me, it was a lot shorter, but even in that short time, I had a lot of success. I took the lowest performing territory to top 10. Like, I had success. But it was because I had the mindset, I'm going to do one thing today, at least one thing today, that's going to have a movement on my territory. I'm going to do one thing today that's going to pay me back 3, 6, 9, 12 months from now. So just remember that, you guys, especially associates and new people in the territory. You guys try to conquer the world too fast, and I get it. Trust me, I was that person. I love it. I love the hustle. I love the mindset. But understand, it's probably not going to happen. So what can we do and control the controllable? And what can we do one or two things today that we can make sure? And you guys are going to be like, oh, I want examples, right? Can you set up one lunch? Can you go talk to a new surgeon? Can you make yourself more validated in the surgery that you're already in? Can you, find out more information about some of the nurses that you're working with? Can you go make more creation or go create new opportunities for yourself by just talking to new people inside accounts? Can you go run your own breakfast? Can you go try to get a trial set up? Can you go see where the list just goes on? Or even as easy as this, can you go run trades without your territory manager telling you to? Can you go do the job that you already know that they're going to text you and say, hey, don't worry about it. I already got it done 2 days ago. Things like that. So hopefully this was helpful. Again, reach out to me on LinkedIn if you guys want specific things that you would like to, or on Instagram that you guys would like me to cover. Again, I want to make this enjoyable for every single person, because I do know we have a lot of people who have listened to the podcast who are now reps and broke in. Love it. And also have been taking our course and then they break in. Again, our average person is breaking in 11 weeks at $91,000. We are super excited. The last 3 people we've placed have all been over $100,000. It's been exciting in the new to medical device sales community. We got the claps going there, but yeah, I just want you guys to know how much I appreciate you guys. If you guys are interested in learning more about what we offer, please reach out, like I said. Or if you just have things you'd like me to go over, LinkedIn, Jacob McLaughlin, new to medical device sales on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook even. So again, we try to hit all of them. YouTube, Jacob McLaughlin, or new to medical device sales, you'll be able to find me. So feel free to reach out. Always enjoy working with you guys. And again, if you guys are looking to break into medical device sales, like I just mentioned, our average person is breaking in 11 weeks at $91,000. I just want to make sure that you'll see the course that you'll see, it's the modules, but it's not just modules. We have the modules, the videos, the quizzes, the downloadable PDFs, but then we also have office hours that we do weekly on Wednesdays, meeting as a community and going through a lot of stuff. Number 3 is we also do mock interviews to get you ready for those intense interview process. And then number 4, we also do one-on-one coaching. Once you get access to the course, you always have access. And then finally, we do payment options and payment plans because, again, you're talking to a guy who moved out here with $1,200 to his name, lived off $30 a week, and woke up on the ground on his air mattress every single day because it had a hole in it. So I will talk to you guys on the next one. Peace.